To Jordan in December 2019 with my sister and husband. We bought a Jordan pass before we left, which included entry fees to all the major sites in Jordan and the visa upon arrival at the airport in Amman. The only thing you need to drive in Jordan is a U.S. driver's license and a passport to get a rental car. Jordan borders Israel, Syria, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, and is a small country about the size of Ohio. It takes about 5 hours to drive from north to south. Jordan is a Muslim majority country, but alcohol is legal in major cities and bars and restaurants. We dressed respectfully in the cities, but shorts and t-shirts are fine at Wadi Rum and Petra. We spent the first day walking Amman, the restaurants and the coffee shops. The people were really great and the food was wonderful. Amman was originally built on 7 hills. The Roman Theater in Amman is one of the main sites within the city. It was built in the 2nd century AD and is now used as a 6,000-seat music and festival venue. Another major site in Amman is the Citadel. It was built on one of the original hills also to protect the city. The third day, we headed north to Jerash, an ancient Roman city dating back 6,500 years. The Roman sport of chariot racing took place here. The main plaza is surrounded by 56 pillars. That afternoon, we left Amman and headed south to Mount Nebo, which is significant as the Bible says Mount Nebo was where Moses lived out his final days and may be buried here. This is the church, the Moses Memorial Church, and mosaics. There were Italian nuns visiting Mount Nebo that day, and I'm not religious, but this was inspiring. We headed to Petra the next day, 3 hours south of Amman. Petra is an ancient city built by Nabateans in around 300 BC. We got up early and left the visitor center at Petra and walked through a gorge called the Sick. It's about 100 feet high. You can see how small the people are. It's a natural gorge and opens up to the main building at Petra, the Treasury. The treasury was carved out of rose red sandstone by the Nabateans around 300 BC. Petra was a wealthy and powerful trade center and was lost due to earthquakes and shifting trade routes. There were no restrictions at Petra. We walked everywhere. You can walk on the ruins, up the steps. You can walk inside. The only restriction was the treasury, that you could not go inside the treasury building. On the second day at Petra, we went through the visitor center and through the Sikh and walked about another 40 minutes to the steps, the trailhead and the steps of the monastery. It's 850 steps up to the monastery, but well worth the walk. This is the monastery. It was really sad leaving Petra that day because I knew I'd probably never go back. We headed to Wadi Rum the next day. It's a desert in southwest Jordan. It's a protected wilderness and the filming spot of a lot of popular movies like Star Wars and the new movie Dune and The Martian. Most of Wadi Rum's inhabitants are of Bedouin origin, and they're largely responsible for making Wadi Rum a destination for tourists. We hired a Bedouin guide for the afternoon, and he took us to all the main sites in Wadi Rum, and also took us for a wild ride. My sister wasn't amused by that, but I thought it was really fun. Camel crossing on the way to Aqaba and the road to Aqaba. Freeway from to Aqaba.
Just get a still picture of that.
There was a security guard at a checkpoint on the way into Aqaba. He had an assault rifle and he asked us some questions. I pronounced Aqaba differently about 4 times. He just rolled his eyes and waved us through. Oh dear. This is Aqaba at our hotel. This is Israel in the background. I didn't realize that Israel was so close. This is the Red Sea and Israel in the background. Aqaba is an important port in the region and has been for thousands of years. Aqaba is the only coastal city in Jordan and a world-class diving destination. This is our resort. I think Aqaba is so much like Scottsdale. The mountains, the bars, the nightclubs, the food. It was fabulous. This is Aqaba Castle, and they have a weekly street market to promote goods produced by the people of Aqaba. From Aqaba, we headed back north to the Dead Sea. It isn't really a sea, but a lake that's up to 30% salt. So much salt that plants and animals can't survive. It's the lowest point on Earth, about 1,300 feet below sea level. We did all the touristy things, the mud bath, the floating. Heading home, back to Amman, we stopped at the famous Hasham restaurant for falafels. You have to check this out if you ever go to Amman. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a chance to visit this incredible country. It was amazing. Heading home. Thanks for listening.